Who did you think did a good job last night?
I think Cory Booker did a fantastic job. I think Cory Booker had his first breakout moment that he was looking for. Cory Booker has had some one-liners. I remember the previous debate, he talked about the Kool-Aid, which it stung and it stood out, but it didn't own the night. I think that once Cory Booker really said to Vice President Biden that I think you were high when you said that, not only was that a stinger, not only did it create a moment, but it really had real context to it for the first time, unlike other times when he mentioned the Kool-Aid.
I wanted to return back to this issue of black voters. I have a lifetime of experience with black voters. I've been one since I was 18. Nobody on this stage should need a focus group to hear from African-American voters. Black voters are pissed off and they're worried. They're pissed off because the only time our issues seem to be really paid attention to by politicians is when people are looking for their vote. And they're worried because the Democratic Party, we don't want to see people miss this opportunity and lose because we are nominating someone that isn't trusted, doesn't have authentic connection. And so that's what's on the ballot, and issues do matter. I have a lot of respect for the vice president. He has sworn me into my office as a hero. This week I hear him literally say that I don't think we should legalize marijuana. I thought you might have been high when you said it.
Is it enough, though? That was dope.
That was dope because
my senator. I live in Jersey. I voted for him.
Yeah, Cory's a great guy. But I think, unlike the Kool-Aid example, it didn't have like a human context to it. It didn't have a policy that could be connected with the Kool-Aid. Where this one about Are You High had actually a policy association when it comes to criminalization about it. And I think from that aspect of it was really important to breakout moment because it allowed us to really understand Vice President Biden's positioning on that and a lot of others individuals how they see it. Right? There's this whole decriminalization versus legalization, and a lot of people think that decriminalization is actually legalization, but it's not. And so it has to go a step further in terms of legalization to make it federal because there still is, I have a difficulty reconciling the notion of how individuals can make money and be rich off of cannabis, recreational and medicinal, but while black and browns are still locked up in prison in other states, I just can't reconcile that. So no matter how you decriminalize it, it's not the same as legalizing.
And why wouldn't he?
Yeah. And that really broke the night when you think about it.
That was the shot heard around the way. And he also backhanded slapped Kamala because there are people in Congress smoking and talk about smoking. Yeah, that was his moment. But is it enough? Is it enough for the voters to say, that's my guy? And when he starts talking about black authenticity, one of the knocks against Cory Booker is that he's not very authentic as a black person.
Yeah, I think it's going to be difficult. I don't think it's enough to bring him into the top 4. I think it'll be enough to get him back on the debate stage. I do think there is...
Well, he's already there.
Oh, he's made it as of today?
Did he?
I don't know. Yesterday he wasn't.
For the next debate?
At the conclusion
Cory
of the
Booker?
debate, he wasn't on the debate for December.
Okay.
I don't know where he is as of showtime today, but I think he did enough to position himself to be back on the stage. And look, I think there's still time for Cory Booker to keep revealing himself authentically. You know Cory Booker very well. I know him very well. It's this notion almost like the Hillary Clinton situation where people will say, well, if you would just get to know me, my friends know I have personality, right? But you never show it.
Right.
Those of us who do know Cory know who Cory is, but he hasn't been able to show it, and it translates to media.
He reached the fundraising threshold, but he still needs the poll numbers.
Okay. And Julian Castro actually yesterday had his best fundraising day, even though he wasn't on the debate stage last night, which I think is a travesty. That Tom Steyer was there. Who the hell wanted to hear from him? For real. I mean, for real. Like, who
Breathe.
Anyway, yes, but
self-care.
Julian Castro had his best. Shout out to him and his brother and his family. I really like him as a person too.
He had a great night on social media. He was very strategic, and I love the way his campaign did it, where he still participated in the debate where he answered every moderator's question on Twitter, and it really allowed people to really pay attention to him because he kept getting in the trending section, and then people started tweeting like fundraising links for him to actually fundraise.
And I thought that was smart. That worked.
Yeah.
It worked. Let me tell you, Andrew Yang has set the table, set the bar for how people should be moving in this political sphere.
Yeah.
And Julian Castro is finally getting it because this man somebody said they were talking about homelessness. The only person that could have actually spoken to that was the housing an urban development person for Barack Obama.
Yes, literally. But you know what's interesting? Speaking of housing, what was your take on Senator Warren? I love her take on the redlining and bringing that to the forefront of the debate. I thought she handled that really well.
She's spot on just about everything that comes out of her mouth. I just don't believe that she could win.
Yeah.
I just don't believe she has a snowball's chance in hell of winning.
Yeah.
And her folksy way and all of the, I think she's a smart woman. I think she can accomplish the things that she says. I think middle America is not bothered and they won't vote for her. That's what I feel. So I'm like,